but you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to like consent to like a strip
Any kind of
or any
search,
sort of search.
like you or your property.
Exactly. And you have a right to a lawyer. And they said, do not sign anything unless you're next to a lawyer. Or you have a lawyer that reads it first. And those were like 3 things that they said that were really important. And just like a lot of us are doing, as well as having some sort of like an emergency plan for your family, so that if one of the family members ends up getting picked up or disappears for a little while, or maybe both of the parents, people know who needs to pick up the kids. Or I know, it sounds really wild, but it's just the reality of what we're living in right now, and again, I think with the immigrant population, it's really easy to see that right now. But I think with the passports, with non-binary folks in particular, and maybe even trans folks, I think we're going to begin to see that's like kind of like it echo out into other populations of folks here real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the veil is like the mask has dropped from Trump, and people are starting to realize that they were just a pawn in his game. Like, to get elected, if he didn't hack the computers, right? This whole fucking thing. But they're realizing that no one is safe right now. I mean, there are people that we've talked about before that are going to be losing their life-saving insurance because he's just cutting the funding for it.
Right.
And I think that really kind of highlights the importance of events like today, that's trying to unite everyone just as people, as Americans, as citizens in this country, trying to fight against this fascist leadership.
And we'll put in the show links, the links to the 2 podcasts that I mentioned, so you can get a little bit more information. Don't take it just for me. Please learn a little bit more about it. But I think the other thing that was interesting today was, it's hard when a rally is happening in the middle of the day during the week to get people to come out. But I was at the Women's March, we both were, and I feel like there was just as many people at the Women's March, which was on a weekend, as was there today. Would you say that?
I would say, there was a significant amount of people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could be in the street with the Women's March, right?
Yeah.
So the Women's March might have been slightly bigger, but it was pretty close to about the same.
And this one was growing as it went on.
Yeah.
When I first got there, like, there weren't very many people in the street at all. Like, they didn't even really have it blocked off yet with the cop cars.
Right.
But by the end of it, it was all over. And it seems like they're trying to get more and more people to turn out, like some of the bigger cities have been. And I think that that's fantastic. We really need that. And it seems like people like Jackie, one of the speakers today, said that she wasn't super worried about Project 2025 when she heard about it, because she said that doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
And so many people believed that. And I mean, even me, I was very concerned with Project 2025. I was yelling it from the rooftops to anyone who would listen.
Yeah.
But I still had this thought in the back of my mind, like, well, we should be safe though, right? Because this
we
is
should
America.
Be able to stop that, right?
Yeah, like, we have people in place. We have checks and balances to prevent something like that from ever happening here. And then all of my worst fears have just been coming true.
Yeah.
But I understand when people say, like, well, that'll never happen here. I understand why they thought that. So seeing
it's unfathomable for most of us, because we've never had to experience it before, and that's not to say, like, I'm sure that the immigrant population has been experiencing this sort of fear, especially undocumented folks, for a lot longer than just right now. I think that's something that's important to say. I remember Ruby was talking about that idea, like, in my understanding, I've never experienced anything like this, but those who have experienced it, they might have a whole nother take about it. So I think that's the thing, is we feel like this, I think there's this feeling of like, this is brand new. We weren't aware of these sorts of things, but a lot of these issues have been issues already, and have been for years, and I think in some ways they're just kind of getting exponentially worse in a way in which people are actually like paying attention. I mean, I think in the long run, it might actually end up biting them in the ass, because I think they're fueling a lot of people to get up and get out in the streets. And